New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
And now the good news. I'm Barbara Jean, and I'm so delighted to share some good news with you tonight. It, of course, is Friday night here in Montreal. However, wherever you are, it could be morning, could be afternoon, wherever you are, welcome, welcome. Well, we'll start off tonight with a story about some students who figure things out. They just know what to do. A high school women's group rescued a hiker with a broken leg, having trained for that exact situation. It started when the students from the Armadale's Presbyterian Ladies College arrived at the Warrumbungle, wow, that's a name, National Park for a 4-day hike. On day 3, they came across Thomas Wendland, a hiker who had broken his leg. Startled but excited, since they had prepared for this very scenario as part of their Duke of Edinburgh Award project, the students conferred with their leader and then sprang into action. Using tarp, poles, and a hammock, they created a gurney for Wendland to wriggle onto. Then 11th grader Stephanie Blake said the team would count to 3 and hoist up the gurney, which they would carry along the trail for 60 seconds. They put him down, rotate sides, take some deep breaths, and do another 60 seconds. They continued like this for 2 hours until they could get Wendland to a location where medical teams could reach him. Wow, way to go, girls. The path just seemed to keep getting longer and longer, Stephanie said. You don't realize how far 2.1 miles is until you're shuffling along carrying someone. Wendland is an experienced hiker, but said that he slipped and heard something snap that day. He wasn't quite sure what had happened, only that something wasn't right. It was a second fall that saw the pain really start. I felt quite useless while they got it all set up. It absolutely means the world that they were able to offer the support, the assistance that they did, and I'm forever grateful. Wow, way to go, girls. Good job, good job. All right, moving right along, our next story. Well, this one, the Mayo Clinic's AI can detect pancreatic cancer up to 3 years prior to when a normal diagnosis could be made. So an AI intelligence model developed by the Mayo Clinic can help specialists detect pancreatic cancer on routine abdominal CT scans up to 3 years before clinical diagnoses, according to a recent study. The AI can identify subtle signs of disease before tumors are visible, when curative treatment might still be possible. The findings, published last week in Gut, that's a good name, mark a milestone in Mayo Clinic's multi-year research into earlier detection of one of the deadliest cancers. Pancreatic cancer remains one of the deadliest cancers because it rarely causes detectable signs in its earliest stages. More than 85% of patients receive a diagnosis after the disease has already spread, with survival rates below 15%. The study validates this AI model using data with workflows that mirror clinical practice, including CT scans from multiple institutions, imaging systems, and protocols. And researchers use it to analyze nearly 2,000 CT scans, including scans from patients later diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, all originally interpreted as normal. Well, this could be a big change for so many people. So, hey, good idea to get a little AI in some of the things that we're doing. Am I right? All right, let's go to a quick little commercial break, and then we'll be right back with more good news here on the New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hepperlin Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Home Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you.
Well, it was a magical moment when subway passengers started applauding a London marathon runner. Yes, this spontaneous round of applause. Liam Williams ran the recent race in honor of his niece Freya, who passed away last year from a brain tumor. After an emotional day, the 38-year-old took the wrong track back to his hotel and found himself at Monument Station. But when the train pulled away, he realized there was a huge crowd on the platform across from him, and they all started clapping. A video taken by his wife shows the strangers cheering and erupting with admiration while Liam becomes overcome with emotion. It was quite a surreal moment, really, said the man from Leeds, England. One person started cheering and clapping, and before you know it, the whole platform was cheering. It was this amazing, magical moment. Some people were shouting, "Speech, speech." It was incredible. That moment just felt epic after all the emotions of the day. Well, running a marathon definitely brings up some emotions and some challenges physically, but way to go, Liam. That's a very, very good story. All right. Well, this is I find this quite interesting. Seniors who prepare their own meals, home-cooked meals, have a reduced risk of dementia. Go figure. So preparing a home-cooked meal at least once a week may cut the risk of dementia for seniors by 30%. And the risk may be 70% lower in novice cooks with few culinary skills, suggested the study published in March. Over the past few decades, people have increasingly come to rely on restaurants, takeout, and frozen food rather than cooking their meals at home. But for older people, meal preparation is not only an important source of physical activity, but also cognitive stimulus. As such, they wanted to find out if the frequency of home cooking might be associated with the incidence of dementia, and if this might depend on the level of cooking skills. They analyzed 10,978 participants aged 65 and over in Japan, whose cognitive health was tracked for 6 years up to 2022. 20% of the participants were over 80, and more than half were retired. 50% were women. A third had fewer than 9 years of education, and 40% had an annual income of less than $12,500 or 10,000 pounds. Participants filled in questionnaires on how often they cooked meals from scratch, ranging from never to more than 5 times a week. This was assessed on different levels, and as a result, they discovered that cases of dementia were definitely as functionally cognitive, Okay, I can't even say these words. Maybe I should let you read the story, right? Okay. Cases of dementia were defined as functionally significant cognitive impairment requiring care. And analysis of the data showed that greater cooking frequency was associated with a lower risk of dementia in both men and women. So everybody, if you're over 65, get in that kitchen and prepare a couple of meals. And if you've never cooked before, even better. Learning how to cook and getting it going is going to save you some trouble in the long run, maybe. All right, so let's move on to a rescue from a kitchen cabinet. Yes. Well, this little pup, some rescue dog transformations are so profound that they restore your faith in second chances. Dobby's journey from squalor to a new family home is one of those stories. Found trembling in appalling conditions, the resilient pup now spends her days playing and soaking up love alongside her new best friend. When Humane World for Animals and the Runnels County Sheriff's Office arrived at property in Ballinger, Texas, they found a heartbreaking scene. The air was thick with nonstop barking and the smell of feces and urine. Among the many dogs inside, rescuers discovered a young pup that was completely hairless and crouched inside a kitchen cabinet. And they gave her a fitting name, Dobby. Also from the Harry Potter series, right? Kind of looks like Dobby. In total, the team rescued over 70 animals from the property, each being given a chance at a better life. Dobby woke up, I'm going to cry. Dobby woke up the next morning in a clean, safe environment. Friendly with responders, she wagged her tail. I'll tell you, I shouldn't do dog stories, right? She accepted gentle affection along with treatment for her mange, which most of the animals also required. Haley, a graphic designer for Humane World, soon heard, the little hairless pup tugged at her heartstrings and she drove 2 hours to meet her. Look at that little puppy, she's so cute. I often joke that at some point while working at Humane World, I would likely fall in love with a pup and want to rescue one. The connection was immediate, and Haley knew they were meant to be best friends. Well, Dobby has a new name, Misty. Well, she made me Misty, so there you go. I'll tell you, there's so many good people in the world, and we just need to bring animals and people together so that we can see the good that is all around. Well, this woman is remarkable. She started drawing at 70 years old, and now at 99, her art is inspiring everyone. Nita Drought is living proof that it's never too late to start something new and discover a passion that touches the lives of others. Nearly 3 decades ago, Drought picked up a pencil for the very first time at age 70. And what began as a simple curiosity has since grown into a deeply personal artistic journey, one now being honored with an exhibit of her work at Fusion Art Gallery as she approaches her 100th birthday. Her medium of choice is graphite, and her inspiration is all around her. When I see something that would make a good drawing, I just go up and ask if I can draw it. That something is usually people, strangers in stores, everyday faces, fleeting moments that catch her eye. For Draw, each subject carries meaning beyond the page. Every one of those people means something to me, she said. Her approach is refreshing, simple, and wonderfully bold. If she sees a face or a scene that inspires her, she asks for permission and begins sketching. And in all her years of doing so, she says she's never once been turned down. Is anybody, I could be in a store and see something that would make a good drawing, and I ask if I can draw, and I've never been refused, she said. Over time, her collection has grown into something far more than a hobby. It's a reflection of human connection, built one sketch at a time. The people around her began to take notice, including staff at Ascend Healthcare, who helped bring her artwork into the spotlight with a gallery exhibit. I think it's an inspiration for anyone who would think that they're too old or it's too late to start something new. She's proved that it's not. So however old you are out there in the world watching tonight, just know it's never too late. Okay, well, this supernova, a 4-year-old saves her grandmother's life. A quick-thinking 4-year-old turned a terrifying moment into a life-saving rescue, stepping up in a way that left both her family and first responders in awe. Inside a Beaverton, Oregon apartment on April 17th, young Nova Hallett was spending time with her grandmother, Charlene, and her baby brother when everything suddenly changed. Charlene suffered a serious fall, hitting her head and becoming disoriented and bleeding. It was the kind of situation that could easily overwhelm anyone, especially a child. But Nova didn't freeze. Instead, she ran outside of the apartment and searched for help. Spotting a neighbor, she urgently explained that her grandmother had fallen. The neighbor quickly called 911, setting emergency help in motion. When officers arrived, they found something remarkable. Nova was calm, focused, and ready. She led them straight to her home, where the unlocked door allowed them to get inside without delay and assess Charlene's condition. Paramedics transported Charlene to a nearby hospital, where she spent about a week recovering before returning home safely. For Nova's mom, Haley Rose, the moment was overwhelming in more ways than one. What 4-year-old knows how to do that, she said. We told her she's in the hospital, she's getting out. You helped her. You saved Grandma. Well, it's all in a day's work for this supernova. Oh, I'm an emotional wreck tonight. I just love it. All right, my guardian angel. Tourist warning leads to a life-saving cancer diagnosis for a tour guide. An ordinary tour on Oakla Island in Nova Scotia may have turned into a life-saving encounter for Charles Barkhouse after a tourist noticed something alarming and urged him to see a doctor immediately. Barkhouse, known to many fans from the TV series The Curse of Oak Island, said the unexpected moment happened after he finished leading a tour in September of 2025. As visitors were wrapping up questions, one woman approached him and introduced herself as a doctor. At first, Barkhouse assumed she wanted to talk about the island's famous mysteries. Instead, she made an unusual request. "Can I examine your neck?" After feeling his neck, the woman gave him a serious warning. "You need to call your doctor immediately." Barkhouse listened. Following several medical tests, doctors discovered he had medullary thyroid cancer, a rare and aggressive form of cancer. He underwent surgery on New Year's Eve. Doctors removed the cancer along with more than 40 lymph nodes. 23 of those lymph nodes were found to be cancerous. Doctors told him this disease could have become deadly if it had gone untreated. If left undetected and untreated, it will affect your liver, your lungs, and is fatal. Now recovering, Barkhouse says he thinks often about the woman who may have just saved his life. I'll tell you, it might be worthwhile to be a tour guide. You never know when you're going to have a doctor in your mix. Well, she never got to say thank you until nearly 20 years later. Nearly 2 decades after a difficult childhood in foster care, one Arizona mother finally got the chance to say something she had carried in her heart for years. Thank you. Sarah Paul's early life was filled with instability. She entered the foster care system around age 13, moving between shelters, group homes, and placements without much consistency or support. During one of the most uncertain seasons of her life, she was assigned a Child Protective Services caseworker named Barbara Daw Saunders, someone Paul now credits with helping her change direction entirely. She was exactly what I needed. She's what made me not continue the cycle, not go down the same path as everyone else in my family. At the time when structure was hard to find, Daw Sanders provided it. She set boundaries, held Paul accountable, and stepped in when it mattered most. But it wasn't just about rules, it was about care. One memory stands out above the rest. A Thanksgiving spent with Daw Sanders and her family. I felt like I had a home. I felt like somebody that was cared for. I felt like I had family, and that was something that I had. It wasn't something that I had. As life moved forward, the two eventually lost touch. Paul aged out of the system, became a mother at 17, and focused on raising her child and building a life of her own. Years passed, but the impact of that relationship never faded. It all came rushing back when Paul found herself fiercely protecting her own teenage daughter during a difficult situation. All of the things that I started to do to protect her and to stand up for her and to fight for her was the same things that she had done for me. It hit me. I never told her thank you. Man, I shouldn't be doing the good news tonight. While preparing for her daughter's graduation, Paul stumbled across an old scrapbook. Inside was a photo taken shortly after she had given birth at 17. And standing nearby in the hospital room was Daw Sanders. You can see Barbara standing over top of my head, almost as if like she was protecting me. Determined to find her. Oh my gosh. Okay, somebody else should have done the good news tonight because, I'm just saying. Oh dear. As I open up my Facebook page, I have people forwarding me a message to me. Daw Sanders says, the one word reopened a bond. Nearly 20 years in the making. Instantly, I got goosebumps and just kind of like a whole bunch of thank yous. What started as a simple search for closure turned into something much more meaningful. Wow, the two women are back in each other's lives and already planning to spend future holidays together. Well, I hope you all forgive me tonight. I'll be back to normal next week, I promise. Wow. A paper airplane, a song request, and a neighbor's kindness that touched millions. One kind neighbor turned an ordinary afternoon in Ohio into a moment that's now inspiring millions around the world. In Lakewood, 8-year-old Madeline Glynn heard something she loved drifting over the fence behind her home. Her neighbor was outside playing guitar. She wanted to make a request, but instead of interrupting or wandering into a stranger's yard, she came up with a creative solution: a paper airplane. With help from her mom, Natalie, Madeline folded the plane and wrote a note asking for a song by Taylor Swift. Since paper airplanes can be tricky, she handed it off for the launch. The note soared over the fence and landed in the yard next door. On the other side was 26-year-old Ethan, a full-time musician who often plays on his porch. He spotted the unexpected delivery as Madeline's stepdad explained where it came from. The request was simple, and the response was immediate. He said, "It's for Madeline, his daughter." And I'm playing on the porch, and I'm going to say, no, absolutely not. Oh. Ethan picked up his guitar and started playing Love Story. He had to look up the lyrics, but Madeline didn't miss a word. She sang along from her yard, creating a moment neither of them realized was about to reach far beyond their neighborhood. Madeline's mom recorded the interaction, just hoping to capture a sweet childhood memory. When she shared it online, it quickly took off, racking up millions of views and thousands of positive comments. See, there are positive comments online. You just have to search for them. We may not get many of those tonight on this show, but other shows do get them. All right. Well, now we have a hero story for you that I can't believe I just did that. Well, actually, I can. I just did something really silly. Yes, I did something very, very silly. I went and closed a window I was not supposed supposed to close. Well, how about we go to a different story altogether? My apologies, JJ. So, Healing with Harmony, a nurse goes viral for singing to patients after surgery. A nurse at UC San Diego Health is melting hearts online for an incredible way he comforts patients after surgery. Meet Rodello Salazar, a recovery room nurse who doesn't just care for patients with medicine and medical expertise, he also brings along his ukulele. While patients wake up scared, emotional, or confused after surgery, Rod softly sings and plays calming music to help them feel safe, comforted, and cared for. Videos of these beautiful moments have gone viral on social media, with many people calling him an angel on earth. And honestly, once you see the way he treats his patients, it's easy to understand why. I am going to pass this along. Oh, my producer found it. Awesome. Can you play the video, JJ? Is that possible? Might not be on such short notice. But look at the smile on that man's face. Like, obviously, he loves what he's doing, and he brings healing and joy to everyone who is in his surgery ward. I love that. Well, everybody, this has been an interesting, and now the good news this evening. My sincere apologies. You know, being vulnerable is one of the ways we show up in the world, and sometimes it's easy and sometimes not so much. And tonight, although I do say I feel a little embarrassed to be crying all through the show, I just want to tell you that tears are God's way of releasing pain. So just allow yourself to do what you need to do, allow yourself to feel, to express, and to be the real you that you were created to be. You've been watching And Now the Good News here on the New Thought Media Network. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And hey, if you've got good news stories, you might want to shift one our way and see if we catch it. And besides that, I just want to thank you for watching. Be sure to come back again next week when I promise not to be crying through the whole show, and we'll have more good news for you. And if you'd like to donate to the New Thought Media Network, just go to ntmedia.org, hit that donate link, and keep this incredible, positive, powerful station on the air. Bye for now. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful weekend.